I am Taylor Shanklin. I'm the CEO and founder of Barlele. We are a branding and digital marketing agency. And I've been doing podcasting and public speaking for many, many years and working in the nonprofit and social good sector. So I've been around the conference circuit doing a lot of public speaking and finally saw an opportunity to do a TEDx event with through an organizer who I knew. Now, some people just naturally are known and they might get invited to do a TEDx talk, and some people have to apply. I was one of those people who had to apply. And so I happened to know the organizer at a particular TEDx, a local one in the Nashville area called TEDx Lenox Village. I saw on Facebook she had opened up a public call for the next event they were going to be hosting and said, hey, there's an open call. You can now go. And if you're interested in doing a TED talk, you can go ahead and apply. So I reached out to her. I said, hey, I want to apply just so that she knew I wanted to apply. And she gave me the guidelines and she said, okay, here's what I need from you. So then I started preparing and thinking about what is it that will capture attention, what is it that I can speak about from a place of knowledge, experience, and a place of from the heart that I thought would actually help people and be a good topic to go through the, I guess, get accepted through the application process. And so that's kind of how it began. I applied. It started out with the organizer needed to know just general topic and kind of bullet points and some samples of what I had spoken on before or what I could speak on. And so what I did is I put together a theme for the topic and a theme for the talk, and then some bullet points. And then I sent her a lot of little video clips of me speaking to say, hey, here's how I speak. Because TEDx organizers are individuals who decide that they want to go and get a license for the TEDx brand. And there's a lot of rigmarole, there's a lot of requirements they have to meet from TED to get this license, and then you can organize a TEDx in your specific region. So they're regional communities for speaking and sharing ideas. And so individual organizers are the ones who get to say who is a part of that particular event. So everything had to be run by her. And oftentimes I think that they have like a committee of people who will look at the topics, look at the speakers coming in, and then ultimately choose who gets into each TEDx event. So that was kind of the initial process of getting into the TEDx event. I wrote it in my head in the shower for a long time. In the car, sometimes while driving. So I really, honestly, I ruminated on the topic for a long time. It is something I think I've been thinking about for a long time. And then the opportunity for the TEDx came up. And so then I started thinking about how do I formulate some of these ideas into an actual talk. So for me, I usually like to start with an outline. So I started just in a Google Doc, I just started to outline what would be the, kind of like the start, the middle, and the end. And what did I really want to talk about in each of those areas of the speech? Then, because I'm a visual person, I moved my outline next into a PowerPoint presentation version. So I started thinking about, okay, with what I'm trying to communicate, how can I start to align an actual presentation deck, even though I wasn't going to show a whole presentation deck, because most TED Talks don't include a lot of presentation. Some do. You can have a presentation like a PowerPoint deck. Mine really only had a few slides, but it helped me to start to think through like the flow of my speech And so I put together a whole long slide deck. It was probably 50 slides of a bunch of pictures that communicated to me what I wanted to say and kind of what I wanted to share, and even some research, some statistics that I wanted to share, and things like that in my talk. So those were the first two steps, just a very simple outline. And then I did a big PowerPoint deck, just kind of to flesh it out. From there, I then started to actually write the script, because you have to write and turn in the entire script prior to the talk, and the script has to be approved. And so I had to write word for word what the talk was going to be, almost like a manuscript or like a book. And so I took a lot of those ideas and kind of the initial big picture things that I wanted to say. And then I just started waking up really early in the morning. And that's when my brain is the most fresh. So I found the time of day that was best for writing and to really like getting word for word down on paper. And I would just spend a little bit of time on it each morning over the course of about a week, because I wanted to condense it. I didn't want it to have to be too long. But over the course of about a week, I got up and wrote a little bit more every day. I probably wrote the talk really just in 2 to 3 sittings, and then really went back and read and edited it and fine tuned it. After that, I gave it to someone else to read. I gave it to my husband. He is an incredible editor. He edited many of my papers in college and did a great job with it. So I knew he would be fantastic as an editor. So I found an editor in my home. But I recommend anyone who's doing one of these to find someone whose opinion you really value, maybe a good mentor or someone who you just know is a good editor, and have them read your script and edit it and help you, just kind of like if you're writing a book, you need an editor. Everyone works with an editor, so get an editor for your script as well to help give you feedback and think through it. So that's really what I did in terms of getting pen to paper, kind of like initial thoughts in the shower into a short outline, into a longer PowerPoint deck that was visual, that helped me really like think through more of, the flow, and then in ultimately what needed to be a script that I had to turn in and have approved. Yeah, so there is a lot of prep, a lot of just practicing. A few things that I did. One, I just read the script out loud over and over and over again. I did some video recordings of myself doing the speech, so that I could watch myself, watch my timing, watch how my body was moving. Um, the formula is specific, and it does, timing matters greatly, because you cannot go over 18 minutes. And most TED Talks are somewhere between 10 to 15-ish minutes, I would say. Mine was a little bit longer than that. I think mine was about 17 minutes, but it cannot be longer than 18 minutes. That's a very strict rule. They're supposed to be short talks. And so timing is really important. There were things that once I started reading it and then either recording sometimes I would just take my phone and just audio record myself reading the script and going and checking my timing and just seeing how long it took me to read it. And then I thought through, well, I can't sound like I'm reading. It has to be natural, because I'm not reading. You have to actually memorize and just say it. And so at that point, I started even editing some things out when I thought, oh, that's too long, or oh, that sounds like it's going off a little bit on a tangent. And so even after doing the script and then starting to practice it, I started to edit it back a little bit more. Um, One of the other things that I think is important to call out that I did a lot of leading up to this preparation and resources you asked about is just watching other TED Talks, listening to podcasts, and listening for things that I think other speakers do well, and then practicing those, right? Listening to how other very, very well world renowned speakers pause and move and lean into a statement and then pull back, and just watching other people who I thought did it very, very well, that helped me pick up on a lot of things. And then I would just sit in my office or sit in my room and just practice and practice what felt natural to me. So sometimes it's a little bit of seeing what other people do that seems to work for them and then trying it. Sometimes it wouldn't feel right for me, but eventually you get into your own space and your own rhythm. And so it was just a lot of saying the thing out loud over and over and over again. And the night before I did mine, I probably read it out loud to myself like 20 or 30 times, to a point where I finally was like, I need to save my voice, so I better shut up now.